All right, what's up guys? Back again with another video. So the 3 most popular ways to buy a truck. I know a lot of guys going to school or you're in training right now and stuff like that, and you want to know the next step from company driver to owner operator. So what's really going to happen is, like, you want to buy a truck. A lot of things, that the first thing that's going to be introduced to you is the fact that you can buy a truck from the company that you're working with. A lot of these big companies, they lease trucks and they have lease operators, right? I'm going to say independent contractor because a lot of owner operators, you know, they get real technical when you're not really an owner operator because you're leasing your truck and all this other type of stuff. But big companies got lease options, right? So that's kind of like the easiest way to buy a truck if you do it the right way. And it can be tricky too, because a lot of the time it's a walkaway lease, meaning that your company is going to come to you and say, hey, you know, you want to buy this truck? You can be like, yeah, I want to buy a truck. I want to do the lease operation program or whatever. And a lot of the times those payments be crazy high, right? It's going to be no money down, and you can get in this truck, be a lease owner operator. You can pay for the fuel, you can book your own load some cases, or you can be dispatched, however you want to do it, but you're going to get a percentage of the load. Sometimes it's 70%, 80%, depending on the company. And some of them still do per mile. You'll start getting $1 per mile, like stuff like that. And you really have to use that to your advantage on what works for you and what don't. Let's say you with a company and you lease a truck, right? And your payment's going to be $1,000 a week. Everybody that's riding around them brand new Freightliners and they got, you know, lease to Snyder or lease to Swift or whoever, they're paying like $1,000, $1,200 a week for that truck, a week. So that's over $4,000 a month that they're paying for that truck. And at the end of the lease term, let's say it's a walkaway lease. So let's say something happened, you want to go to a different company, you have to give that truck back. And everything that you paid down, or all the money that you were paying per week, you forfeit it, right? You just walk away from the truck. You don't owe nothing, and they don't owe you nothing. And you can get a truck back at any time. So you know what they're going to do. They're just going to give that truck to the next person and do the same deal, the same cycle all over again. Now, people who do that, they use the truck as a tool. All they care about is how much they're going to net at the end of the week. The other part to that is, at the end of that lease term, are you going to own the truck? A lot of the big companies, they got a balloon payment at the end. So let's say you drove that truck for 3 years and you made that payment, $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. At the end of the 3 years, they're gonna say, hey, okay, you wanna keep the truck? We need $15,000, we need $20,000 cash. They might finance it for you or not. They might want it all up front for you to get the title to that truck and you own the truck. So that's the first way, probably the easiest way, but the most expensive way to buy a truck, because it's no credit check, it's none of that type of stuff. You can work right with the company. The con is the payment is super extra high, and you can't take that truck and go work for nobody else. You have to pull that company's freight, that company's loads. The next lease option is the lease from a third-party lease company. That's the Lone Mountains and the LRMs and those places. Those places, they do a credit check sometimes. Sometimes they don't even do a credit check. You just got to have the amount down. Sometimes we want $25,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 down, and the payments are usually cheaper a month, right? Normally those payments can run from $1,500 to $2,500 a month. So that's a month, not a week. So you're paying probably half less than what you'd be paying if you would have did the first option. But those sometimes be a walk-away lease. If you do decide to walk off away from the truck, it's a penalty. They're going to want to charge you a penalty for turning the truck in early and stuff like that. But usually if you kept the truck for the term, let's say the term was 3 years, you own the truck at the end. So you put down the $4,000, you're paying $2,500 a month for the truck. At the end of 3 years or 4 years or whatever, you own the truck is yours. But if something happens and you decide to walk away from the truck, you forfeit all the money that you put down, you forfeit all the money that you paid a month, and you're gonna have to pay a penalty. They all don't have penalties, but if you walk away from the truck, you will be forfeiting the money down and the money that you paid per month, right? Also too, with these leasing companies like that, sometimes with a lot of the leasing companies, you would have to go to their recommended, you would have to lease the truck on to their recommended carrier, because they have deals set up to where that $2,500 a month or that $1,500 a month that you pay, they're going to deduct that directly from your settlement from the carrier that you leased onto. The money's going to go directly to them. You're not even going to see the money, and that way you can't take the truck to wherever you want to lease it onto. You have to use whatever recommended carrier that they have. So that's another con about leasing from some of these places. Now, also too, now, depending on who you go to, a lot of those lease companies, they don't care where you take the truck to. So that might be the one or the company that you may want to go to and put your money down and get those type of monthly payments on the lease option. And also make sure that there's no balloon payment at the end of the lease term, and you own the truck at the end of the lease. That's a good way to purchase a truck, you know, if you have challenged credit. So if you don't have the best of credit, that's a good way to get into your own truck through the lease game if you're going to own the truck at the end of the lease term. The final way, now keep in mind too, I've done all of these ways, right? I leased the truck from the company. I bought a truck or leased a truck from one of these carriers or from one of these lease places, and now I financed my last truck. I financed the truck. So this option, you don't have to have awesome credit, right? But you will have to put some money down, and you can't have no derogatories and stuff like that. Financing the truck might be a great option, because this is typically where you put your money down. All your money that you're paying is going towards the balance, and you can typically get a payment from, you know, $800-900 all the way up to $1,500, depending on the term that you get on the finance option, and you can buy a truck or finance a truck. And of course, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you finance the truck, you could take the truck and go work for whoever you want to do, lease it onto whoever you want to lease it onto, get your own authority, run under your own authority, which you can pretty much run under your own authority too, depending on the lease carrier too. That's an option as well. On the lease side, not leasing from the company, but if you lease from a third party leasing company that sells trucks, you can pretty much get your own authority and run it under that too. Because I see a lot of people driving Lone Mountain trucks, they have their own authority. But outside of that, of course, you know, if you got the cash, you can go buy a truck cash money, and it won't cost you no monthly payments, and you can take the truck, lease it on, you can get your own authority, you can do whatever you want to do with that truck. But those are the three main ways people buy a truck. If they don't have all the cash, you know, you can lease it from a company that you work with, or you can lease a truck from a third party, a truck dealership that lease trucks, or, you know, you can finance a truck. You know, go to a dealership. It's kind of like buying a car, very similar to buying a car. You go in, do a credit application, they run your credit, see what you qualify for, tell you the amount that you need to put down, kind of similar deal, and of course pay cash. So those are the ways that you can buy a truck. Like, share, subscribe. Hope this information was helpful to you. Until next time, see you in the next video.